everyone, welcome back to Wanda's Bee Shop. Okay, not really, but so anyway, so today we are going to put the top end back on. We finally got our head gasket in. It took quite a while to get this one in for some time, but as everyone knows, getting parts right now, everything's backed up. But we did finally get it in, and so we are finally going to work on putting it back together.
All right, you ready to put this pink beauty together?
Yeah.
You are? All right. So anyways, as Wanda said, we've been waiting on a head gasket, and parts availability really sucks. To have to wait a month for a head gasket to come in is ridiculous. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get the head on. I'm gonna go ahead and set it on, get the first bolt started, and then I'm gonna let Wanda Lynn put the rest of the bolts in. So these are AFR heads. They're an older casting. I'm not quite sure how old they are. So those are locked into the dowel pins. This stuff works pretty amazing. It's a gasket sealant number 2. I use it on the head bolts, especially on these 400 blocks, because as most of you probably already know, the bolts dead end into a water jacket. So you really want to seal the threads to keep any of the coolant from flowing up through the threads and seeping out. As Wanda told you in a previous video that we thought we had a blown head gasket because the water was pretty milkshaky. It turns out that it wasn't. The head bolts just weren't torqued down all the way or correctly or properly, or maybe whoever had the motor beforehand didn't go back and re-torque them after getting heat in the motor initially. So anyways, we got the new cometic head gaskets on, and then we're going to seal these head bolts and go ahead and get finished with the assembly. Switch sides and let me do the rest. So you want to make sure too, as you're putting these head bolts back in the 400 on the block, somebody used silicone previously to seal the bolts. You want to make sure that you chase the threads in the block really good. You don't want to use a thread tapper because tapper's actually taking metal away, but you want to use a thread chaser, and it just basically cleans the threads up. This one's going to go in the middle. Like it's smooth outside. All right, so we got all the head bolts in, and we've got them snugged down, and now we're going to go ahead and torque the heads down. Going on the AFR's webpage, they want you to start at 40 pounds per square inch, and then go up 10 pounds until you hit 70 or 75, depending on the head. We're going to go up to 75, especially since we put the cometics on there. So I'm going to go ahead and hand Wanda the torque wrench. She's never used one before, and show her the order to do them in. As most of you know, you start in the middle, and then you work in circular pattern on your way all the way out. And then you go up 10 pounds, and then you start again. Hands to you. We're going to start here. Pull it. Hold it straight up. Hold both hands. Keep your hand up here. There you go. Now pull it till it clicks. There you go. All right. I'm going to go here. So Wanda's done the first go around on 40 PSI, pounds per square inch on each head bolt. And we're going to go up to 50 and 60 and then 75. I'm not going to make you sit through watching all this. All right, so we got the head bolts all torqued to 75 foot-pounds, and I'm sure most of you know this already, but anytime you get done with your torque wrench, you always want to return it back to 0. You never want to leave it sitting on a torque setting. It will damage the torque on the torque wrench. All right, I'm going to have Wanda put the push rods in place now. And we'll go ahead and get the rockers on, and after that we will set valve lash. All right, so now Wanda's got all the push rods in, so we're gonna go ahead and put all the rockers on, and I'm gonna show her how to do the first one, let her do the rest after that. Slide on. Just gonna put it on. Cut threads. There, see the hole? Slides on. Alrighty, so we just got done adjusting the valves. Rather than have you guys sit there and be bored to death watching me adjust valves, I'm gonna post up 2 cards that I use. They're basically cheat codes, or cheat cards, I should say, that shows you when you pull number 1 on top dead center, you could adjust half the valves, and then you rotate the engine over full turn 360 degrees, and then you can do the other half when number 6 is on top dead center. So it goes pretty quickly that way, but I'll post these cards up for you for a second.
And this has been a great learning experience for me. It really helped make things make sense in my head about how everything works. I got to learn the difference between intake and exhaust valves, and then also that this is 1, 3, and 5, and that's 2, 4, and 6. So
Nope. There's 8. There's 8
4,
total.
8.
So that'd be
1, 3, 5, 2, 4.
That's only 6. There's 8. 1, 3, 5.
Well, basically odd and even.
Let's get them though. 1, 3, 5.
7.
Yep.
2, 4, 6, 8.
Good job. All right.
Anyways, it made sense to me in my head that this was odd and that was even. All the other numbers obviously didn't make sense.
She'll learn soon when we go into firing order why it's important to know all 8 of them. We'll get to that later. Anyway, you want to tell them about this?
So we finally got this back from the powder coaters, and we're pretty excited to get it open and put on. We got a lot of other things, but we were saving it to unwrap. We've had these actually for a month while we waited for the gasket to come in, so you will get to see it at the same time we do.
Getting ready to put the intake manifold on. I've got the cometic intake gaskets on, as well as a pretty hefty dose of the right stuff. I mentioned this in the previous video. I don't know if you watched the video on installing the C-clip eliminators, but I also use the right stuff on the back of those to seal them up to the brake backing plate. If you've never used the right stuff, I highly recommend it. I use it on everything: valve covers, oil pan, water pumps, anything you can think of. If you want it to seal and not leak, this stuff works pretty amazing. We had announced that we were going to unwrap the intake manifold for the first time since we got it back from the powder coaters. They actually did a Cerakote on this instead of a powder coat. The main reason is the Cerakote is much more durable, and it doesn't, it's not affected by chemicals, gasoline, carb cleaner, anything you could spill on it, it's not going to discolor or fade away from the chemicals. So I decided to go with the Cerakote on this. I also went with Cerakote on the valve covers and the water neck, and then the headers, which you'll see a little bit later in another video. We have those ceramic coated. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down and start bolting it in.
Come in the camera whore.
Camera whore, that's me.
It is. Knew it. Alright, so we just finished putting the intake manifold on, and while we were doing so, we happened to notice that the phone battery had died on us. So we went ahead and charged it up real quick so we can finish this video out. So we just have the valve covers sitting on for now. We're going to go ahead and finish that up, and then on the next video we'll get the engine put back in. But I did learn a very, very valuable lesson during this time, was that if silicone gets on the beautiful pink part of the motor here, do not wipe it off and spread it, because apparently that will make the builder very upset. So hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe and pass on to friends, and hope to see you soon.